Greetings, there, people. Zero Cult of Personality here. Toon Critic's the name. Toon's in the name of my game. Welcome back to the Sketchpad, the little show where I send out a bunch of emails, and whoever hits me back first will get an interview with yours truly. So today, I keep saying, like every other episode, that I keep getting bigger and bigger with the guests that I get, whether they're voice actors or people like on YouTube. But man, oh man, we've hit the jackpot here today, folks. We've hit the lucky 777, if you will. This lovely individual that I have with me here today, she is a singer, author, voice actress with voices such as, let's see if you remember some of these, Coco Bandicoot from the Crash Bandicoot series, as well as the iconic voice of Jimmy Neutron. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Debi Derryberry.
Hi, Zach. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolute honor to have you on here. I know
Thanks.
I know a lot of my fans, huge fans of Jimmy Neutron, a lot of video game fans, big fans of the Crash Bandicoot series. So, just to name a few, of course, of all the iconic roles that you've done as well.
Yay!
All right, so let's get this show on the road, shall we? So, you, let's see, how many years have you been doing voice acting?
Gosh, since I came out of the womb, I think. No, I actually was. I was a pre-med. I was going to go to medical school, and then but I was always a singer and a songwriter and an actress on stage. And then I moved to Nashville to do country music, and all I got were session jobs singing like a baby. And somebody said I should come back to Los Angeles and try cartoons, which I never even knew about. And that was about 30-ish years ago, maybe.
Wow.
I just started working the day I got back to Los Angeles in cartoons and hasn't stopped. So, you know, my voice just I guess it records well or something, because I just keep getting very fun, cool jobs.
I would definitely say so. Your voice is definitely one of the most recognizable that I would say as well.
Oh, thank you. I think that's good.
Yeah, it is. It's a very distinct voice, I think. Like, when people hear it, just like, yeah, I remember that voice. I think that's a very useful skill to have as a voice actor or actress.
I was talking to someone the other day, and that they were watching a show I'm doing called F is for Family on Netflix, and I'm Maureen, the daughter, and I said, do you like Philip also? Because I'm Philip, and the person I was speaking to said, I didn't know that was you. And that's like the biggest compliment ever, if somebody doesn't know that it's me. I do so many scenes in that show where I'm like both characters talking to each other, which is super fun.
I can imagine. I've had that as well. I'm somewhat of a voice actor myself. Like, I tend to have conversations with myself just for fun. So, I guess it has its perks in a sense when it comes to arguing with yourself or talking to yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, what was the point in your voice acting career where you had the I've made it moment, where you knew that, like, this is what I want to do?
Wait. People have that?
I think.
I don't know that I've ever had that. I constantly just do what I love and do the jobs that people hire me to do, and there was never a spot where I said, "Oh, yeah, I've got it. This is all I have to do." Now, I do remember when I was waiting tables in Nashville, and I got my first on-camera series called Hey Vern, It's Ernest. I was playing a boy clown named Skeeter, and after I got the first couple paychecks and I joined Screen Actors Guild, then I actually thought I can quit waiting tables. So there was that moment where I kind of pulled the plug and I went, okay, I really can do this, and I don't have to wait tables, but I can always go back to waiting tables if I have to. But I haven't had to go back yet. I mean, every year I think about it, but it's been over 30 years and I haven't had to wait tables yet. But there's never that comfort point, where you go, oh yeah, if I didn't work a day in my life, I'd be cool and just coast. That's not the way I work.
It's not quite that easy.
No, it's a lot of constant work. And I use the work term just because I get paid for it, but it really shouldn't be called work because it's just so fun. It's just playing all the time. For me, it's just enjoyable. I love it.
If you didn't have fun with your job, like, you'd have to question, like, what am I still doing here, in a sense?
Where?
Well, I meant like if you're doing voice acting and afterwards you're just like, I don't know why I'm still doing this. Like,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah,
fun
yeah.
to it.
Exactly. Like if it's an effort at all, then what are you doing? Because it takes 8 hours of your day. That's 1/3 of your life. So if a third of your life you're not happy, like if you don't like the bed you sleep in, that's like a third of your life. So I think if you like your job and have a great bed, you're in good shape.
I would hope so. What are some important qualities you think all voice actors and actresses should have no matter what?
No matter what, I think you need to be kind and considerate, and not just, I mean, considerate of people's time, considerate, and you have to be able to read a situation. You ever walk in on two people talking and you just want to start talking and interrupt? Well, what if they're talking about something really scary and sad, or, it's good to be able to read a situation so you don't, I don't know, disrupt something delicate. And it's really good to have good listening skills, because most of my actual work, I'm listening to the director, and he has an idea and the producer has an idea of what it should sound like. So if I just let him start talking and go, yeah, 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 that's not listening. Not only do I want to hear what he has to say, but I want the director to know that I've heard him, So, and then kindness-wise, you work with these people, the same people, over and over again, every week for years. I mean, I run into people, maybe I haven't seen them in 5 years or maybe 5 days, but it always feels like family, and we all go out and see different people in different studios, and you never know what someone's been going through, so I really think no matter what, just come from kindness. Even though I've been known to be a brat and abrasive, and I've certainly interrupted conversations and made people think I've been unkind when I direct them, but really my goal is to just help people get where they want to go and do what they want to do as efficiently as possible, and try to be kind along the way.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I think patience is also something that comes along with the job too, is considering like how long you do your job. Actually, that I think I'm going to switch this question around, because I was going to ask this later, but I feel now's a good time to ask. So, voice acting, it's a very serious thing, especially for the impact that it has for the people who watch. But there are those who say that voice acting is not a real job. What are your thoughts on that perspective?
For me, I have students that come to me, or people from all walks of life, that will say, oh, voice acting sounds fun, I want to try that. Well, Zach, it is a full-time job. I would say the actual recording part might be, I don't know, maybe 10%, 15% of my week. But the other 85 to 90% of my week is spent talking to people, trying to meet people, auditioning, perfecting my auditions, helping other people, figuring out the business, knowing what projects are out there. It's a huge business. It's not just the agent's job anymore. So the actual part of getting behind the mic and doing my voice acting job is, although a small part, it has to be better than anybody else who tries to do that. I have students come to me all the time and they say, I want to do a princess voice, or I want to talk like a baby. And I say, well, you're going to have to beat me, because, me, Tara, E.G., Kari, we do it all day long. They'll use us. Why would they use you? You have to be better. And then there's the whole skill set. When people get in front of a mic, it might look easy, but it's not. It's an acting job, and everything has to come out of your mouth. If you're jumping, screaming, laughing, climbing, crying, you can't use your body. You have to use your face, your mouth. You can use your arms, you can bend your knees. But like anything that people get really good at, if you watch a a diver or a dancer who's really good, you go, oh, that looks easy, I want to try that. But when you really get into it and you try to do it, you realize that there's a huge skill set that requires practice and years of study. So I can get where it looks, I can totally see where it looks really easy and not really looks like a job, which is fine. I think that's the way it should look. I should be able to make it look easy, because that's what I do. I do it, and I think I do it really well. All of us who do it a lot do it well and make it look easy. So good. Let people think it's easy. I think that's good.
There's some who have, like, I guess, when they view that perspective, it's a little bit of a negative way, but I think you've put it in a bit of a positive light, too, because it helps not just you, but it also helps the other person, I think, to understand.
Yeah, and if they really want to understand what's involved with it, I wrote a book called Voiceover 101, How to Succeed as a Voice Actor. Hear the airplane? I'm right here in the Burbank flight path. So I live right near the studios, but the planes fly right over me, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney, Salami Sound, all the big studios that record cartoons. The airplanes go over it. We just hear them, and then it's a typical thing for an engineer to say, hold for an airplane. Everybody just stops, chit-chats for a minute, wait till the big airplanes go away, and then there's those times during the day, like 7 a.m., noon, when the planes really take off. There, it's kind of gone now. Okay. So what was I saying? I forgot.
Well, I think you were starting to say something. I was saying that it's good that you put this in a bit of a positive light, because it helps both sides, I think, understand. Yeah.
Well, I hope so. Oh, and they can read my book if they want more details on what's involved in voiceover. It's available on Amazon. And CreateSpace.
You are an excellent author as well. Like, I've actually managed to read the book off of a friend, and there's some really good stuff in it.
Thank you. And it also has a QR, like that little maze that you put your QR reader on, and it'll take you to videos where I can, I go through a video, I show you how to do things like bark like a dog. It's hard to describe in words how to do that, or cry like a baby, or work the mic. So yeah, there's some actual interactive stuff where you can pop over to a video.
Okay. I think that's actually really cool too, because this sort of thing, again, you cannot explain how to do certain things just by like writing them. You have to experience them.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. How much input do you have when voicing a character? For, like, let's say an example, how you approach a line, or if you need to change a line to fit the characters you play?
Generally, I try to honor the script, but when something is a long-term project, like, say, Draculaura on Monster High, and it goes through so many changes and renditions, and the directors will change, and the team will change, but the character stays the same, I wouldn't expect that the director would be able to know everything Draculaura has done. Or on Curious George, I do Gnocchi, the little kitty cat, but we've changed directors a few times, so I wouldn't expect them to know all the things I've gone through, or that Draculaura would do or say. So if I was more familiar with the character than the director, it's a very delicate, path to walk on, but you want to let them know if it seems a little off for the character, or if the character might say something a little bit different. Because, when I was doing Jimmy Neutron, there was different directors for all the renditions, the commercials, the video games, the any other platforms that they had him voice. It wasn't always the same director. So in those instances where I really know the character, then I would feel okay to step up and say, no, this character would do this or say this. But for the most part, as an actor, your job is to honor the writer, the script, and the director, and you're just the tool.
I sort of do the same thing when it comes to some of the videos that I do, but I always, if possible, I always find it fun to, ad-lib here or there, sort of, getting into the mindset of the character, or, I guess, improvising a little bit. I think that's fun, but you're right when it comes down to just sticking to the script.
No, I'm not saying don't improv. Improv is, key. I mean, when I teach people how to audition and get the line off the page, there is so much more to it than just the words on the page. I mean, if I was saying, I'm coming in a minute, and that's what the script says. I wouldn't just say, I'm coming in a minute. I'd say, wait, I'm coming in a minute, okay?
Yeah.
So I added the word okay, but I added a lot more than that, right?
Yeah.
So definitely improv and all the noise and natural little isms that you do, if you're a teenager and it's, I'm coming in a minute, I'm coming in a minute. So a bunch of different stuff that fluffs it up, I call it. So all that is definitely something you want to do. And I will stop when I'm directing other actors. I will stop them and not let them get through the line if they don't do that. Because what's the point? Anybody could read the line. You got to fluff it up.
You got to have a little bit more depth to it.
Yes, and there is where the voice acting comes in. And people don't really realize that until they get deep in it, that it is an acting job, and that you don't have the liberties that an on-camera actor or a stage actor would take. If I was on stage or at a camera, say I was on stage, I could turn to the audience and make a funny face and roll my eyes. That might take 3 seconds. Well, in voice acting, if you go silent for 3 seconds, they turn the TV off. If you're on camera and you want to just make a heavy sigh, that'll read. They can see you do it. But on the microphone, if you do a heavy sigh, mics don't pick up that sort of breathy noise. If it was, you didn't hear that, did you? But what if I went, ugh, there you can hear that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of distinctions from voice acting from on camera and stage.
So now I'm gonna jump into if I may say, two of your biggest roles. I want to talk about Crash Bandicoot series. What was your experience like working as Coco? Let's say starting at the beginning to up until recently with the release of the Insane trilogy.
Let's say huge gap. It was so long ago that we did the first one that I barely even remember it. My main memory coming away from the first record so many years ago was that she's a bossy brat who loves her brother so much, and it wasn't a real big stretch from my natural voice. And the new one, it's the technology that changed pretty much. All his characters were the same, and as you probably know, in video games we don't record with each other. I mean, you might run by, I'd see Lex Lang in the green room or something and say, hey, I think he's the Dr. Mean guy. What's his name?
Cortex,
yeah. And, I mean, Lex and I have been friends for decades, but we don't get to record together. We just get to have coffee together, and then he'll go in or I'll go in and be done. So it's always been fun, and I love that the fans are so dedicated and that it's a really fun game, and that Coco and Crash and Dr. Vortex have such distinctive personalities. I just, you never know what's going to hit and what people are going to love, but I'm so happy people love Crash, and I'm so happy they brought it back, or redid it.
Yeah, a lot of people are very happy about it. I think Coco is one of the best characters in it too, and I loved how much energy you brought into her when she showed up.
Thank you. Well, I'm hoping that a lot of people will come and see me next Sunday at Comic-Con San Diego. I'll be there in the sales pavilion, signing autographs and seeing all my Coco fans, because over the years I show up at the conventions, and whatever show is popular at the time, I get to see those fans. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Crash Bandicoot fans.
If I may ask, out of the many times that you played Coco, what game did you enjoy voicing in her the most?
All of them. I don't have one favorite. I just don't. I like them all. They're just, I just like doing what I do. And, sometimes it's just a blur, Zach, going from one job to the next, because when you're recording video games, we don't get the through line. We don't get the scene. We get the lines. So I don't always know what's happened before I talk or after I talk. I never know what path the player is going to take. So I'm not always, I don't have the means to know what the player's experiencing. I just want to do what I do and do it really well.
Well, I guess that does raise an interesting question. Have you ever watched back or played any of the games or watched any of the series that you've been in, just sort of to relive the magic or whatever?
Definitely the cartoons I have watched, and I watched my son play some of my video games, but I'm busy all the time. I don't play video games, I gotta say. I wish I did, but I am so busy all the time. If I'm playing with the keyboard, it's usually because I'm recording and editing. And, once in a while I'll take time to binge watch some cartoons that I'm on just to get the feel of it, and I'll watch the cartoons before I audition for them so that I'll know the pace of the show and the feel for the show. And as an actor, that's what I need to really focus on.
That seems fair.
And, all the millennials can, how could I even compete playing with my son? He gets those controllers and I don't know how you guys do it. It's amazing. How do you know what buttons to push? I get so discouraged. I trying to push the buttons and my character dies every time. So how can I compete with 16-year-olds whose fingers fly all over those little remote things? What do you call those?
Controllers.
The controllers, yeah.
It's muscle memory. It's muscle memory. I think it's also because of how many different types of games we're introduced to, what we look for in them, how we play them. I think I could go into a whole video about all that, but I guess it mostly comes down to how we've grown up playing games and how that experience is translated over the years to different games, different consoles, different styles, pretty much.
Yep.
That's just my
I know.
My
they
insight
sit in a basket on the piano, the controllers, and I dust them.
So now I'm gonna get to this question I'm not gonna spend too much time on because I know you probably get this all the time, because Jimmy Neutron, I think, is one of your most notable roles.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but what was your experience like working on Jimmy Neutron?
Like a dream. I mean, you never know what's going to happen when they first auditioned everybody for it. It's just like any other project you audition for. You go in, you audition, you look at who else you're competing against, and I looked at the sign-in sheet, and I saw all the big names there. Saw mostly gals with texture in their voice. Where they have that little boy texture thing. Only I don't really do texture, so I'm like, well, this is my version of little boy with no texture in the voice. Luckily, John Davis liked it and picked me, and we did a tiny little interstitial. And I'm like, oh, okay, that was fun. And then the interstitial came back, and they played it for me, and I thought, that is really cool. And the next thing I knew, we did some more interstitials. And then they said, guess what? We're going to do a feature. Oh, cool. And then they said, oh, guess what? We're going to do a series. Excellent. And guess what? Your film's nominated for an Oscar. And all that stuff it's not like you audition and they go, it's a huge project and you're starring in it. It's not like that. You never know what's going to hit. So I do my best, and I enjoyed we did record all together, Jimmy Neutron, all in the studio together at Nickelodeon, which is pretty much the funnest thing any actor could hope for.
I could bet.
And working with Jeff Garcia and Rob Paulson and Carolyn Lawrence, and of course Megan is so funny, and Mark DiCarlo, and it was just awesome. So fun. I mean, laughing so hard and getting to work with our guest stars. So yeah, it was called Jimmy's Neutron, and I was Jimmy Neutron, but it was a collaborative effort. In fact, the week after Comic-Con, I think the 28th, I don't know when it's going to air, but me and a couple other Jimmy Neutron cast members are doing a podcast over at Nickelodeon. They're interviewing some of the legacy characters that people want to see the series come back. So I'm hoping that your 17,000 subscribers will send an email to the head of Nickelodeon or the head of Paramount and ask him to bring Jimmy Neutron back. Because, I don't know, I think it's time. Don't you think it's time, Zach?
I think it's time.
Gosh. Yeah, I mean, that purple flurp isn't getting any less bubbly. I think we have to do it.
I think it's actually a really good time for so many things to come back. Like, you have DuckTales coming back, you have Samurai Jack coming back, you have the Hey Arnold movie that's going to be coming out, I think, a little bit later this year. It's a great time to start seeing more reboots, and I think, yes, Jimmy Neutron should come back. Like, now's a better time than ever to come back.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there.
The thing is, though, I was never the biggest Jimmy Neutron fan initially, but when I started watching more of the show, like, I didn't really enjoy the movie as much, but I really enjoyed the show. More so because it had such this weird, quirky nature to it that I didn't feel it had in the movie, you know?
Well, the movie we had just, that was the first thing we did. We did the movie first, and we hadn't had that camaraderie. We hadn't had that time to develop our relationships and the characters. But as the series went on, it just got more and more hilarious every time because all the characters, you have, 4 hours in the booth every time to just start sussing the characters out and finding the funnies. So, yeah, the series is really funny. The movie's so well done, and it's a jump. It's a trendsetter for, when 17 years ago when they did it, it was like the first of its kind. It was awesome. Yeah. And now, so many things have followed in its footsteps that the next Jimmy Neutron movie is going to be, so far beyond technologically speaking.
It'll be a weird kind of full circle in a sense.
Yeah, let's use a continuing line. Let's say it's just going to keep going.
I guess one last thing I want to ask, how many times do you get asked to do the Jimmy Neutron voice? Because I can imagine, like, you must have so many fans, like, oh, do the voice, like...
Every day. Every single day, and when I'm at convention, like every person. So, yeah, I have my kid calling me from school saying, Mom, my roommate wants to hear Jimmy Neutron. Can you talk to him? All right, I will. Oh, got a blast. Yeah, pretty much every day.
And that doesn't get exhausting or anything?
No, are you kidding? As an actor, you hope you get a job that people know. You always hope for that one job that people love and that they'll remember, that's a legacy character, that's an icon. No, I'm honored. Kidding? Love it. You gotta love it.
That's good, because I know most people are just like, oh, I'm so tired of doing the voice, like, let me be, I do other stuff, like, but it's really good to see that you're still into it, like, you still enjoy it, because that's, I think, the most important thing.
Oh, yeah, gotta enjoy it. Get out if you don't, because it's what I do.
Do you have any ways to deal with stress while on the job, whether it's long recording sessions or dealing, like, say you're sick during it, or just trying to, like, I guess not be as stressed while doing it?
Well, that's the job of an actor. Again, it looks easy, but the job of an actor is to let go of everything else and focus on what you're doing. And so things that help me do that are, well, your basic acting skills. They say the show must go on, whether you've got an ingrown toenail or a stomachache, or, I mean, if you have a cold, just stay home. You don't want to get anyone else sick. But as far as, problems at home, or maybe you're in tears, or all that stuff, you just have to be able to put it by the wayside and do your job. And if you can't, and sometimes you just can't. I remember I was doing Despicable Me 2, and my mom was ready to die. They called the studio. She had passed away. I couldn't continue working. I left.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Oh, thank you. But, those are the sorts of things that sometimes you just can't continue working. But for the most part, you just got to let it go. And keep all your supplies on hand so that you can do it. So stress on the job, everybody has their little secrets and their little tricks. For me, I will count to 10. I'll close my eyes and go away for a few minutes to the beach, or hiking or something in my head if it's crazy. Or if I'm thinking, I'm not doing a very good job. You just want to remain professional at all times. And I don't know if you've ever taken an acting class, but in an acting class, as an actress, you let go. You share a lot of intimate details with your class and with the people watching you. And as an actor, you have to be able to kind of let go and share all those intimate details with people. And it's hard sometimes. People know deep secrets about you because you talk and something has to make you tick. And I think that's, the tabloids get off on it, and they do that all the time, and they make up stuff. But imagine if somebody was that intimate with your life that they knew all your little secrets. It's a real, it's a tiptoe, because you don't want to share everything, but people are bound to know something. I don't know. I'm just going on and on.
No,
so dealing with stress.
I've had that actually happen. I've had many opportunities taken away because of some BS that some other person will come up with. As someone who suffers from depression and anxiety and all these other things, and people try to use that against me in a sense, and I think there's been 1 or 2 times where I've lost opportunities because of that. It is stressful. It's stressful. Also, I have taken acting classes. Actually, I was doing a lot of it in college. So
yeah, and so you share a lot of intimacies, and actors are just weirdos. We're just weirdos. We want everybody to know everything about us all the time. But you have to just be professional and do what you do. I don't know if that makes any sense, but what's the next question?
Okay. This one's actually a bit of a bonus one, and I was debating on this, but I feel, there's no harm in asking this. So I have to ask, are you familiar with the show My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic?
Nope. I mean, I know there's a show out there called My Little Pony, but I've never been on it.
Well, would you ever be possibly interested in the show? Because it has a huge following. You have Tara Strong, Ashley Ball, Tabitha St. Germain, all these amazing voice actors and actresses on the show. It's got a huge cult following.
Yep.
It's
Canadian.
So it is, yes.
Right? It's Canadian. I'm not Canadian. So there you go.
Well,
they record in Canada. I don't know if they hire Los Angeles-based voice actors to do My Little Ponies, but of course I would love to be on that show. Of course, it's an awesome following. The fans are diehard, fabulous fans. Yeah, I'm so impressed with the fan base for My Little Pony. And Tara's great. She lives around the corner. Our boys play together. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that, but I would love it. So, whoever's on My Little Pony in Canada, come and get me. I'm ready.
Okay. All right, jumping back. So we've had you talk about your voice acting experiences, and you have also plugged that you're an author. But let's go back a little bit for your singing career, actually.
Aha! My favorite thing to do in the world, singing. What do you want to know about it?
Well, can you tell us more about your career? What was it like, I guess, transitioning perhaps from, say, singing to voice acting, or just your general experience with singing?
Well, I've just always written songs and sang, and I love harmonies. I was doing country music in Nashville, and when I came back to LA, I started a band called Honey Pig, which is kind of a Dixie Chick 3-part harmony country band, and just for fun. I mean, it never was never had a record deal, or we had 2 or 3 albums out, and we played all around Los Angeles, and took a little break from that and moved into preschool music, and I have 3 award-winning preschool albums for kids, and those are amazing songs and amazing musicians on it. I have Bob Dylan's drummers and Lucinda Williams guitar player and Dwight Yoakam's bass player, really excellent musicians on my albums. And I toured the country at most of the Barnes and Nobles doing all my kids' concerts. But again, cartoons and voice records were always my bread and butter, music just for fun. And now in the last couple months, I'm going back to my Honey Pig songs. I have a couple new girls I'm working with. So it looks like we may be revamping Honey Pig again and playing around at some coffee houses in Los Angeles. So for me, music is just always the funnest thing to do, and it makes me really happy. Once in a while, I'll get to sing on a cartoon, and that's, I think, for me, when you were talking about full circle, that's full circle for me. If I could star in a cartoon and sing on it, that would be awesome.
All right, anyone listening to this, you know what to do here, all right?
You know what you do! You got your marching orders, Buster!
So what do you do on your downtime when I'm guessing besides like the whole you mentioned before, like the other 85% of like your day is like filling out stuff and honing your craft, but other than that, like, do you have any hobbies out of that? Like what do you do like on your downtime basically?
Let's see. I go swimming every day in my pool, go swimming laps, and I walk my dogs. I love my dogs, so they get a lot of attention. I sing, I cook. I love to cook. I do YouTube videos. I have a new one out on how to cook giant zucchini. There's a lot of different, what do you call it? Like what in your YouTube station, you have different playlists. So I have one playlist that's like recipes.
That's really cool.
So my downtime is really enjoying my family, and sometimes I'll just sack out in bed at 7:30 or 8 and binge watch The Handmaid's Tale or Nashville. Of course, I'm gearing up for Game of Thrones. So that's pretty much it. I love to travel. No trips right now planned, but I'm a mom, so I spend a lot of time helping my son and doing the mom thing.
Well, that's good. Oh wait, there was actually one last bonus question I was going to ask before we get to the end of this. You've been going to conventions for like quite a while.
Yeah.
What has been like one or a few of your favorite convention experiences?
Well, the best part about conventions is that you get to travel. I really have had fun going to Australia. Looking forward to, if there's any listeners from the UK, I really want to go out there and go to a con in Europe somewhere. I gotta say that cons for me are, did you ever see the movie Groundhog Day?
Yes.
It's all the same to me. You fly in, you go to your table, and the people in that city, the fans, you get to meet them. You go back to your hotel room, pass out, get up, do it again. And it's always sort of the same sort of schedule. It's great to meet all the fans, and it makes me feel so happy to get to meet them and to know that people all over the world love what I do, what we voice artists do. And each con has its own, they try to be, different, whether it's the scary cons or there's the anime cons or just a kid con or an overall Comic-Con. They all have their different vibes, and so different characters will be more popular. You still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh, sorry, I heard my Skype burp.
Yeah, I heard that for a second too. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, okay, never mind. We're fine.
Yeah. So, I like doing cons. It's hard to leave town for the full weekend, and it is exhausting, but it's, again, love to meet the fans, because if it weren't for all the fans, the show wouldn't be a success. So I never, ever take fans for granted. I enjoy meeting them. I have one fan I met named Angela Dorn. Hi, Angela, if you're listening. She's been a really long-time fan, and she sends me pictures of all my characters on her wall. And she's invited me to see her in Special Olympics. I would love to go. And people just are so different and so great, and I'm grateful for them.
Well, that's very good. Very well, I'm sorry. Grammar. It's really cool as well. I go to conventions quite a lot too. I get to meet a lot of fans as well, whether it's fans of like my stuff or fans of my other friends' stuff. So it's a very interesting experience. It's very energetic, but it can be exhausting if you do it like once a month, like consistently. Eventually, you start to get a little worn down from it, you know?
Yeah, it is exhausting. I don't know how people do it every weekend, really. I mean, maybe they don't have kids and a house and dogs and full-time work, but it's tough to get away. I usually will plan a con a few months ahead of time, and that'll give me a chance to book out from my agent and catch up on things so that I can leave town for a few days, because it's a lot of details.
I can understand that. Last question that we have here. What piece of advice do you pass on to people aspiring to be in the voice acting industry?
Read my book. Go buy it and read it. And know that it is acting and it doesn't come overnight. It's a lot of work. It's not just making your demo. It's, how are you going to get in the union? What do you want to be in? Do you want to do anime? Do you want to do like Western animation? Do you want to loop? Do you want to do promo? Do you want to do commercials? Do you want to do video games? Do you want to do all of it? There are classes for each little facet of the voiceover industry, and I touch on all of it in my book. Hopefully it'll give people an overview and let them kind of focus on what they want to work on. But it is an acting job. And there are a lot of specific skill sets. Also, D. Bradley Baker has a wonderful website. I think it's called I Want to Be a Voice Actor. And he touches on a lot of great questions people have, as does my book, as does Tara and Yuri's book. So, do your homework. I can't just think of one thing, but it is not for the faint of heart. Acting is a very tough, emotional job because you may audition for 200 jobs before you get one. And if you think that you're being rejected for 199, that's a really hard way for an ego to look at it. You have to look at it like, I like it all. I love the audition process. If I book a job, even better. But if you're depressed 99% of the time because you didn't book 99 out of 100 jobs, it doesn't do well for your personality, your ego, feeling good about yourself. You just have to like the whole business.
I think that's sort of something that, in a way, I tell a few people, a few of my fans, a few of my friends, like, you got to stick to this. If you're actually serious about this, if you want to go for this, it's not going to get handed to you. You have to pursue this. You have to fight for it. You have to chase it. You have to make it worth your while, because if you expect everything to be handed to you, that's not how this works. Whether it's whether it's in voice acting or whether it's with anything else, you can't just have things handed to you. You have to earn them.
Well, also, if I could say I do this all day, every day, but I like it. If you really like doing it, then that's what you want to do every day. I have some students that say they want to be a voice actor, but then I see what their Facebook and their Instagram looks like, and what are they doing the rest of the day? They're doing this or that, and I'm like, oh, well, that is great. That tells me that that's what you love to do. Maybe that's what you should be doing, because you can make a living doing anything as long as you love it. If you like putting costumes on dogs, then maybe that's what you should be doing. If you like sewing in your spare time, maybe that's what you should be doing. If you like, walking dogs, maybe that's what you should be doing. But if you love doing voiceover, then it's not an effort at all, but it is full-time. There's always something you can be doing for your career every day, Saturdays, Sundays, every day. And I'm doing it. Look, here it is, Saturday. This is my day off. And I'm doing this interview with you when I could be laying at the pool. But I enjoy it. It's super fun. And I'm enjoying talking to you about it. So it's not an effort. Yeah, but you got to do it every day.
All right. Thank you very much for this lovely, I guess, almost hour just talking.
Wow.
I feel like I've learned quite a lot from this as well, and I'm sure everyone watching this as well will hopefully get something out of this too. So
thank you.
So before we end this, is there anything you would like to plug before we head off?
You betcha. Okay, so everybody goes to Netflix and watch 3 shows. F is for family, but if you're easily offended, be careful. it's a pretty, it's a pretty raunchy, funny show. I play Maureen and Philip and Ken and the emergency room nurse. A lot of different characters. Super fun show with Bill Burr, Laura Dern, Justin Long, Haley Reinhart, Mo Collins, who just got nominated for an Emmy for the show. Super fun cartoon. Glitter Force, so demographic is like little girls 4 to 12 years old. Super fun little show on Netflix. Also, Buddy Thunderstruck, that's on Netflix as well. I play most of the female roles on that. And I want people to go follow me on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook and Twitter at Debi Derryberry, and that's just with 4 letters, D-E-B-I. And Derryberry, D-E-R-R-Y-B-E-R-R-Y. So you can find me there and follow me. There was another job that I'm forgetting. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Guild Wars 2. That's fun, too, if you guys are playing Guild Wars. I'm Timey. And on Mobius, Final Fantasy, I'm the Elder Moogle and the Koopos. I think that's it. Did I get it all? Oh, Hanazuki. Yeah, if you like unicorns. I'm all the baby unicorns on Hanazuki. And hopefully everyone will go out and see my new movie, The Emoji Movie. That'll be out, I guess, in a week, right? Yeah, very soon.
Roughly.
I'm a lot of additional emojis on that movie. So yeah, if they would follow me, that would be awesome. And please watch all my shows. And thank you for listening to Zach's interview. And thank you, Zach, for having me.
Oh, it was an absolute honor. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. You have a great day.
Yes, with that being said, I'm the Toon Critic, keeping you totally tuned for your entertainment. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and put down in the comments what your favorite Debi Derryberry role is. I'm guessing most of you are probably going to put down either Jimmy Neutron or Coco, but hey, she's done a lot more than that, and I would definitely recommend getting her book as well. Like, there's some really good stuff in there if you're serious about wanting to get into voice acting as well. And yeah, that should do it. So, thank you all for watching, and stay awesome.
Thanks. Bye.